Hello there, Alison here at Keithley Healthy Living. Welcome to our Wednesday afternoon exercise session, part of our Movement Matters Rethinking Pain series. So before we start today's exercise, the first thing we need to do is check that we've got plenty of space around us. So check the area around you is free from any hazards, nothing to trip or fall over, and nothing sharp to knock into. Before you exercise this afternoon, you need to be feeling fit and well from any medical conditions, illness or exercise. And I've said before, my name is Alison. I work for Keithley Healthy Living on one of our specialist pain programs, Rethinking Pain, and I specialise in movement techniques to support people that are in long-term pain. Okay, so today's exercise is going to be seated, all seated. We'll do a little bit of mobility and then we shall move on to some toning exercises. It would be a good idea if you've got a yoga block at home to use a yoga block. If you haven't got a yoga block, don't panic. A cushion or something else that's soft that you can squeeze will be fine. So if you want to make sure you've got that, also a good idea to have some water at the ready because we do get rather thirsty while we're exercising, and if you're just wearing comfortable clothes with something on your feet to protect you from slipping. I'm going to be using a chair today because the exercises are seated, so if you make sure that you've got a chair handy, and again there's nothing that you could knock into. So I'm going to go over to our chair now to start today's session. I'm just going to place my yoga block at the side to use later on. So your alignment on the chair, we need to be sitting nice and comfortably. Think about 90-degree angles. So our heels nicely on the floor, and then a back tall, and our tummies are in nice and tight, and shoulders just nice and relaxed. We're just in that nice, correctly aligned position, because obviously correct alignment is important for your exercise, important for your posture, which in turn will help your long-term pain. So we're going to just start with a nice little shoulder shrug. So we're just lifting and lowering the shoulder, keeping the back tall and keeping the tummy in nice and tight. And then we're going to just shake it over to the other side, lifting and lowering. Shoulders nice and relaxed. 2 more. And then we're going to circle those shoulders. Nice and controlled. And just the other way. Lovely, keep that back nice and tall. With our head, we're just going to look over to the right and center, left and center, right and center, left and center. And then we're just glancing up, not taking the head back too far, looking down, glancing up and looking down. And then we're just going to march those feet through. Try and get the heart rate up a bit, get us warm. Although the weather is a bit warmer and nicer today. Let's hope it stays like that. Don't forget, you can like the page or comment in the box to let me know that you're joining me this afternoon. I'm just pushing the heels forward now. Please do let me know if you join it. Always nice to hear from you. Even if you're watching on catch up, do comment in the box to let us know you're here, or just like the page. And then we know that you're watching. Any questions, I'm always happy to answer. Okay, so we're just pushing forwards. Keeping those knees nice and soft as we do that. And then we're just going to march through again as we take it into a knee lift. So I'm just going to knee lift with my right leg. So lifting, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And over to the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go back to the right side and just lift for 4. And then over to the left side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's work through the hamstrings now. So we're just going to flex and curl with that right leg. I'm going to place my other foot down on the floor. Lead with that heel. And then take it over to the other side. So we're just curling, working through that hamstring. And then marching through, getting that heart rate up. I'm just moving my shoulders a little bit too here, just to get a little bit of extra movement in there. And then we're pushing forwards again, just working through those hamstrings and working through those heels. I'm going to take a heel and toe with my right leg now. So heel into floor and tip of the toe to the floor. And then over to the other side, heel into floor and tip of the toe to the floor. 4, 3, 2, 1. Marching through again. And now we're just going to take the hands in front. I'm going to turn to the right and center, left and center, right and center, left and center. Keeping that back tall and keeping that tummy in nice and tight as we do that. Hips stay facing forwards. And then now we're just going to take the hands over to the side and imagine that we've dropped something on the floor. We're just going to lean and lift. So the hips are staying forwards, heels press into the floor, shoulders back, back tall, tummy in tight, over to the side and lifting up, bending at the waist. Nice and controlled. I'm going to go back to those knees and just knee lifts, alternate legs. Working through. And then I'm just going to flex with hamstring curls. Alternate. That's a bit more of a coordination challenge, that one, isn't it? So flexing and curling. And then moving into our arms, we're just going to take a little bicep curl on that right arm. So the palm is coming up towards the shoulder. And then over to the other side. Let's move some movement into our fingers and toes. So we're just going to circle around with the hands. This is good, especially if you've got arthritis in your hands. Good to get them moving. And then over to the other side. So we're just circling round. And then we're just going to flex through each finger. Push into each finger. Push down. And back again. And then we'll have a bit of wrist flexion. So just pushing the heel of the wrist forwards and just pulling back on those fingers. We're doing the same again at the other side. Okay, we're going to do similar on the toes. So I'm just going to circle my toes around. And then we're going to go back the other way. And then I'm just going to point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, and relax it down over to the other side. Same again, circling that round. And back the other way. And then I'm just going to point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, and relax. That's the warm-up complete. So now we're going to move into those other exercises. I'll just readjust my chair so you can make sure you can see me. Okay, we're going to start with the feet today because we usually leave these to near the end. So I thought today would be nice to do these first of all, so we get some of them in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lift from the heels off the floor and into the toes. So we're working the muscle at the back of the legs in the calves, which is good for strengthening our legs. And it's also good for helping our balance and stability when we're walking. So we're just going to take the heels off the floor and push it back down. We did do a similar exercise to this in the last video where we were pulsing at holding onto the back of the chair. So you can do that one as an alternative. But if you're just sat in your chair or at home, maybe watching TV or Watching the grandchildren, you can take your heels off the floor and just do a little bit of the exercise from your chair. Okay, from this bit, we're just going to work the muscle at the front of the legs now. So we're just going to do the opposite. So we're going to take the toes off the floor. So we're just flexing off the floor. Flexing and back down. Flexing and back down. Now we're going to add a bit of weight, but we're going to add some weight from our own body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one leg across the other leg, and I'm just going to do those 2 exercises, but lifting the weight of my other leg. So first of all, just rising onto the toes and down. So I'm using one leg to lift the other. So not only is it having to lift itself, it's having to lift the weight of the other leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exchanging sides. So put the other foot across, and we're going to do the same exercise again. So we're just lifting, keeping the toe on the floor, lifting the heel off the floor. Again, so that calf muscle is lifting up through those toes, and it's also lifting the weight of the other leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax there. Okay, back with the other one, and this time we're lifting up from the heel. So the heel stays on and the toes come up, working the front of the leg, but also lifting the front. So we're just going to lift and down, 2 and down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switching sides. And then we're just going to flex that foot, lifting. If you wanted to make this harder, you could actually cross the knee over the other leg further up, just to make it a bit harder and add a bit more weight. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to stretch those muscles out now because they've done quite a bit of work. So we're just going to stretch the calf out. So push the foot, heel forwards. So feeling that nice stretch through the hamstring and the calves. And relax down. Do the same on the other side. Push the foot forward, stretch through the hamstring and the calf. And then we're just going to point that toe forward so we get a nice stretch out through the front of the leg. Release down, and the other one points forwards. Relax. Okay then, we're going to take hold of the yoga block. And what I'm going to do, we've done this exercise quite a few times over the last few weeks, but we've never had anything in front of us to hold. So today what we're going to do is we're going to hold the block. You're checking that you've got some space at the back of you, so you might need to slide your body forwards onto your chair. Again, making sure your feet are flat on the floor and you've got your 90-degree ankle from your heels to your thighs and your thighs to your body. I've got that space behind me in order for me to move. So my yoga block's going to go above my knees. I'm going to try and keep the yoga block there, but I'm going to move my back. So the yoga block won't stay there. It would be almost impossible, but we're going to imagine that we're keeping it there. So I'm going to take my body back and then lift back up to the yoga block. So as I lift up, I'm going to squeeze up through my pelvic floor as well. So I'm actually working the lower tummy muscles as I come up, and then we'll take it using the back as I go back. So we're going to go back, gently back, and then tummy muscles and pelvic floor lifters up. Also working through the hip flexors. So we're taking it back and lifting up. Back and lifting up. So as you can see, by me holding the yoga block, I'm keeping that yoga block there. I'm using my back and my tummy muscles, not just my arms. So back and lift up, back and lift up. 2 more. And last one. Okay, holding onto that yoga block. We're just going to take the yoga block to the side now. So you're almost taking it like it was, we're waving it back. So we're just going to take it back and lift it back up. So working down the sides of the body. So lean back slightly as you do that. As any turn, you'll feel it down the side of the body. Taking care not to turn too much, especially if you've suffering with any bone density conditions. 2 more here. Last one, and relax. And we'll do the same to the other side. Take it back and lift up. I might need to just move myself across, so I've got a little bit more room. So we're going to take it back and lift up, back and lift up, back and lift up, back tall, tummy in nice and tight. As I go from side to side and just working through that body. Back and lift up, back and lift up, back and lift up. And if you haven't got a yoga block at home, you can use a cushion. All the exercises that I'm going to do today, you could use a cushion or a pillow for. Okay, so we're going to put that yoga block back in front again, and we're going to do a second set of those tummy muscle exercises pulling up. But this time, we're going to slow it down slightly. So we're going to go back for 2 and up for 2. Back for 2 and up for 2. Back for 2 and up for 2. Keeping that head in line with the spine and the back tall, and we're trying to keep that yoga block over our knees. Almost impossible to do that, but keep it there and lift up through that body. 2 more. And final one. Relax. Okay, we're going to place the yoga block now between the thighs. And what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the muscles and the thighs and the pelvic floor together to squeeze onto that yoga block. Okay, so we're just going to go squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. So you will feel it just slipping slightly. If you want to support it and hold it as well, you can. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. 2 more. Last one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to place it there, but we're going to squeeze and hold. So I'm not going to release. My release is just there. That's all. Okay, so it's perfectly still and stable. Right, so we're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Then we're going to squeeze and hold. So I'm going to squeeze and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release. So when I'm squeezing and holding, I'm squeezing and holding the muscles of my inner thigh. I'm not squeezing and holding my breath. I'm just holding the muscle. Okay, if we hold our breath, we're going to either pass out, and it's also quite bad for the muscles of the pelvic floor. It puts a lot of strain on the body holding your breath. So we're not holding the breath, we're just holding the squeeze. So we're going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and hold. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release. Again, squeeze and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release. Twice more. Squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And last one. Squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release. So you should have felt that in your inner thighs, but it's also benefiting your pelvic floor as well. Okay then, so taking hold of that block again, we're just going to take the block back over the knees, and we'll do 8 exercises going back. We're going to go back for 3 and up for 1 this time. If you feel that you don't want to do that pattern and you just want to go straight backwards and forwards, or you want to do back for 2 and up for 2, that's absolutely fine. Work at your pace. It's more important that you enjoy the exercises. Okay, so we're just going to put the block in front. So we're going to go back, 2, 3, lift up, back, 2, 3, lift up. Again, keeping the head in line with the spine and lifting up through those tummy muscles and through that pelvic floor. Use the muscles in your back to take you gradually back. 3, lift up, back, 2, 3, lift up. 2 more like this. And now the last one. Coming up tall, we're just going to take the right hand back, and lift up. So working down the sides of the body again. Second set for these. Back and lift up again, taking care not to twist too far. Just a nice twisting movement in the sides of the body so we feel it in the sides of the body just there. 2 more. Last one, over to the other side. Side and center. Side and center. Side and center. Keep that back tall. Keep that tummy in nice and tight. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. This time we're going to take the block between the lower legs, so between the calves. And from here, we're going to squeeze in onto that block or squeeze in onto that cushion, whatever you're using. Okay, so we're just going to squeeze, thinking about squeezing from squeezing the inner thighs, but you will actually feel it on your outer thighs as well with it being lower down. So we're just going to squeeze together. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Think about squeezing from the pelvic floor muscles. So we're working the inner thighs, outer thighs, and pelvic floor all in one exercise. Don't forget, you can message me any questions you might have. Pelvic floor exercise is extremely important for all of us. Squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it there. Okay, I'm just going to place the block on my knees now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that block just a little bit above my knee. So I might have a cushion if I haven't got the block, and we're just going to lift the knee up to the cushion. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now over to the other side, lift up. So we're just feeling that and the front of the thigh. So working the fronts of the thigh, making that thigh nice and strong. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relaxing down. Now what we're going to do this time, we're going to take that block out to the side. We're going to do that same exercise again, but we're going to lift the block towards the knee. So we're going to take it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other side, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you can repeat that with the block if you like, or if you want to work a little bit harder, we'll repeat it and we'll take the opposite elbow to knee. So we're going to have the hands at the sides of the ears and we're just going to go in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you feel it in the sides of your body? Let's do the other side. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. This one that we're going to do next is a good one for the tummies and the thighs. So we're going to crunch in and push out. Also good for the hamstrings. In, push out. Crunch in, push out. In, push out. In, push out. In, push out. Crunch in, push out. In, push out. Final 2 this side. And then moving on to the other side, rest down. Taking in, push out. In, push out. So working through the muscles in the core, through your tummy, through your body, working through your thighs and your hamstrings just to get that bit of movement. Crunch in, push out, crunch in, push out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. We've certainly worked our thighs today as well as our bodies. What we haven't done much of today so far is the arms. So that's what we're going to move on to next. So I'm going to actually take my yoga block into my right hand and I'm going to lift it out to the side. So I'm just going to keep the palm facing down and we're going to lift out to the side and back in. Out to the side and back in. As you do this, wiggle your toes to make sure that the blood flow returns through your body and it doesn't pool in your legs. So you're just keeping those toes moving to ensure blood flows nicely through your body and doesn't put any strain on your heart. 2 more. Last one. Now we're going to take the same arm. We're going to go out for 2 and back in for 2. Out for 2. Still moving those toes. Back in for 2. Out for 2 and back in for 2. Keep it going. Out for 2. Back in for 2. Out for 2. Back in for 2. Twice more. And last one. Relax there. Change over to the other side. Blocking the other side again with the palm facing down. And I'm taking that block out to the side for 2. And back in for 2. And as I'm sat, I'm still thinking about my stability on the chair. Toes pointing forwards. Body at 90 degrees. Out for 2. Back in for 2. Out for 2. Back in for 2. And this is where you've got to take care that you don't knock into anything because the block is wider than your hand. Out for 2. Back in for 2. And then we'll just do some quick ones. Up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and rest it there. Did you feel that on the tops of your arms, just there? Yeah? Okay then, it's amazing how gravity works us. So still keeping hold of that yoga block. I'm holding it in front, grasping hold of that yoga block. I'm going to move the tricep here in my arm and just take it back and bring it up. Hips facing forwards, back, bring up. So the hardest bit of the exercise is actually straightening the arm. Easiest bit is when it curls back up. Stretch, relax, flex, relax. 3, 2, 1, and rest there. Changing over to the other side, so you can just put your block into the hand. I'm going to turn so that you can see. Okay, and we're going to do the same again. So just taking that block back and bring it up. And so that block or that cushion acts as a lever, just taking the arm back. And we're feeling it in the back of the arm just there. 3 more. And rest. Amazing how that works your arms, isn't it? Just by having that little bit extra. Okay, and then lastly, we're just going to hold on top of the block and we're just going to do an upright row. So lifting it and lowering it. If you prefer to use something heavier than your cushion or your block, you can pick up your bottle of water or any cans of that you might have, hips facing forward, or you might have some weights at home. You could use a hand weight for this one. Head looking forwards. Just upright row. Working the tops of the arms. Last one, rest it there. Return the block to the floor. Last exercise for the arms now. I'm just going to take the arms up, elbows out to the side, clasp the wrists, and then we're just going to make some fists and bring the elbows together and out. So take your fists together and out. So from here we're working the muscles in the chest and the upper arms. So bring it together and out, together and out. 2 more. And last one. And now the elbows are just hovering in front. We're just going to move the elbows, but we're going to move the feet at the same time. So again, that blood flows through to our hearts as we're working. Extremely important, especially if you've had any previous history of heart conditions or blood pressure conditions. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So now we've worked our arms just as much as we did our thighs and our tummies. Okay, one final exercise, which will be one for the legs. We're going to take the foot forwards and we're going to work the inner thigh. We've done quite a lot on the inner thighs today, but I thought it'd be nice just to finish with this one. So we're going to take that instep up and we're just going to lift and lower, working that inner thigh. 3, 2, 1. And then rest it here. Let's just circle and go back the other way now. Relax it down. Over to the other side, flex the foot so the instep's lifting upwards. We're lifting and lowering. Keep the hips facing forwards and the back tall. 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we just circle. And back the other way. And rest. Well done. A lot of exercises there today. What we're going to do now is stretch everything out, which is the nice part. So we're just going to start off by doing the arms. So placing your right hand between the shoulder blades and your left hand over the top or pushing from the front. Once again, just wiggling those toes inside your chair trainers or your shoes just to keep the blood flow moving. Head looking forwards. And we're going to do the same on the other side, between the joints and over. Head in line with the spine. Feel that nice stretch at the top of the arm. You can push from the front if you prefer. And then from here, take the hand down onto the side of the head and just reach the other hand out to the side, feeling that lovely stretch through the neckline, but taking care not to pull on your head. So we're getting a nice stretch through the neckline. And if you're somebody that suffers with an achy neck, this is particularly nice. And then over to the other side, so hand on the side of the head and reach out to the side, palm looking down, feeling that stretch through that neckline. From here, the hand that is out to the side, we're going to bring in front and show me the palm. Hold between the joints and look over your other shoulder so we can feel a lovely stretch in the upper arm, in that deltoid muscle that we worked while we took the arms out to the side. Relax the arm down and do the same on the other side, hand in front, hold between the joints and look over your shoulder. Relax, take the hands now into the small of the back and press the chest forward so we get a nice stretch through the front of the chest. Head looking forwards. And then placing the hands on the thighs, pull the tummy in and around the lower back, keeping the head in line with the spine. From this position, we're just going to clasp the hands and take them forwards, so we're stretching through that upper back. Once again, wiggling the toes as we take the hands overhead, feeling that lovely stretch through those tummy muscles. And relaxing down. Take hold of your right leg and draw in towards your chest. So holding it there, and from here we're just circling the toes and back the other way. And then I'm going to point that toe forwards and pointing and flexing, just getting a bit of mobility back into that leg before we give it its final stretch. And then here we're going to stretch and reach the hands towards the shoelaces. You can hold it there in the stretch if you're happy with that. If you want to increase the stretch and take it to the floor, you can, or if that just feels better for you. Everyone will be different with this. Some lucky people can stretch past their toes, but everyone's different. As long as you can feel a stretch in your hamstring, that's the right stretch for you. From here, we're just going to take that heel onto the calf and feel the stretch through the outer thigh. Hold it there if you feel the stretch. If you feel like you can increase it, your flexibility, please lift the knee up and lift underneath the knee, feeling a stretch through the outer thigh, or you can lift it on top and just lean slightly forward, again getting that lovely stretch through the outer thigh. Taking the knee over the other leg now, we're going to use the opposite hand to knee and look over the shoulder. So you're feeling a stretch in the sides of the body as well as in the outer thigh. Change over to the other side. Same hand and knee together, or same elbow and knee together, and open out the chest. That leg that's across now, we're going to take that one out to the side and just bring the hands forward, lean forward, feeling the stretch in the inner thigh. Step the feet back together, and we're going to take the other knee out to the other side and bring the body weight forward so we get that stretch through the inner thigh. The leg that's out to side, which will be your left leg, bring in and draw in towards your chest. Hold it here, and then we're just going to circle. And then go back the other way. And we're just lifting that foot out, and we're going to point and flex, getting some movement through into that leg before we stretch the muscle. Point and flex, point and flex, point and flex, and then reach towards those toes. Once again, aiming to touch the toes, the shoelaces. You just reach to where you feel happy with. If you want to place that foot on the floor because that's more comfortable, you can reach down towards the floor. Choose a position that works the best for you. If that's more comfortable, leave it there. And then we're going to place the heel of that leg on to the calf. Feeling the stretch through the outer thigh. You can leave it there if you like. If you're not sure, you can just slide it a little bit up if you want to get a little bit more stretch. Or you can then place the heel onto the knee of the opposite leg and lean forwards to increase that stretch further. Taking that knee over the other leg now, and we're going to take the opposite hand to knee and look over the shoulder, feeling a stretch down through the sides of your body. Switching to the other side, opening out that chest. Relaxing those feet back to the floor. Lift up above your head and just lean to one side so we get a lovely stretch down through the sides of the body. Release it there and over to the other side, up and over. Relax down and finally take a nice big deep breath. Lift up and release it down. Lift up and release it down. Give those hands a shake and give those legs a shake, and then give yourself a well-deserved clap. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed that session. The session is recorded, as always, so you can watch it again if you want to try the movements again in your own time. You can also find more videos on the Rethinking Pain Movement Matters website, and on the Rethinking Pain and Keto Healthy Living YouTube channels. And if you scroll down further on this Facebook page, there's also previous videos from myself, Andy and Mary. And if you go right down to the bottom of the page, you might even be able to find some very old videos from the 2020 lockdown. So I hope you enjoy watching those. Do message me if you've got any questions. Also, if you live in the Bradford and Craving district and you want to be referred into our Rethinking Pain community-based programme, you can ask your GP to make that referral for you. Thank you once again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this session and I hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye.